Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to our part 2 for the history of Superman. Now much like the previous video, it's only going to be solely based on the Superman from the Injustice universe, so I'll only be talking about that one there. Also, if I've left out anything important about certain characters, it's because I'm solely doing this from the perspective of Superman, and I will be getting to other characters in the future. Now before this video starts, I strongly do encourage anyone that's new to watch our previous video, as it will give a lot of context to what's currently going on. Now on that note, let's begin. Now we're going to pick right up where we left off, with the destruction of the Green Lantern Corps. After the massive battle, many heroes that had sided with Clark had suddenly disappeared, and Clark had searched the entire planet, looking for Cyborg, Robin, Raven, and the Flash. Knowing that there was more going on here, Clark started to suspect the use of magic, and because of this, he started to investigate in what was going on. With the assistance of Sinestro, they were able to capture a Gotham police officer and threaten not only him but his family if he did not give up any information. Now the officer didn't budge, so Clark would in fact have Sinestro torture him. Now Clark would be approached by the Spectre, who would warn him about Batman, and how he was now allied with people like Dr. Fate and Zatanna. Now during the middle of their conversation, Superman would be approached by the astral form of Raven, who would inform him where she was in fact captured, and within a heartbeat, he was able to rescue her. But Clark was so blind, and he in fact landed into a trap. The person that he believed he had saved was not in fact Raven, but Ragman, who would wrap him in magical bandages, subduing the Kryptonian. He would then be told by John Constantine that he better get comfortable with those bandages, as they will never let him go. Clark couldn't get out of this alone, and was able to scream out Shazam, and this would gain the attention of Captain Marvel, who would instantly appear before them with the rest of Superman's regime, including the Spectre, who would kill Ragman, which would free the Kryptonian from the bandages, in which Clark would then set his eyes on John Constantine and nearly kill the magician, until Shazam convinces him that this isn't the right thing to do. Thanking his friend for coming to the rescue and helping him see clearly, Clark and the regime would take John Constantine as a prisoner to the Hall of Justice. But on their journey, something would happen to Shazam, resulting in him dropping John Constantine, in which the magician would then disappear. Shazam would then depower himself, turning himself back into Billy Batson, and Clark was still questioning what was going on, and with the assistance of the Spectre, they were able to understand what had happened. Deadman had possessed Shazam, and under his influence had managed to drop John Constantine, but Deadman wouldn't be a problem anymore, as the Spectre would deal with him. Clark would then return to the Hall of Justice, as he wanted to figure out a plan to flush out Bruce, but Clark had a very uneasy feeling, as the Spectre had disappeared from his side, meaning his only protector against magic was now gone, and that's when Atrogin would explode into the Hall of Justice, creating as much havoc and chaos that he possibly could. Despite the surprise attack, Clark was able to hold his own, eventually overpowering Atrogin, and when he began questioning the demon for why he was doing this, Atrogin said that he was nothing more than a diversion, and his body would teleport away, being replaced by Batman. Before he can even question Bruce about why he made a deal with a demon, Bruce would throw magical dust into his face, and this type of magical dust was designed to put anyone into a deep slumber, leaving them in a coma-like state. And like that, the last son of Krypton fall. Now during his slumber, Clark would dream of the life that he would have had if the Joker didn't take it away from him. He had Lois, a farm, and even a daughter, but as we all do know, this is a dream. And when Clark awoke, he found Diana fighting Sinestro, in which he would immediately stop the fight. He would then talk to Diana privately, discussing what he had seen and what he had felt, and how he's furious that Bruce would make him watch something that he wanted so bad be nothing more than just a dream. Now during this time, Diana had convinced Clark to give up his fear ring, as he could once again be seen as a beacon of hope. Now Clark would be approached by the Spectre, who would inform him the location of Batman and his insurgency. He would then teleport Superman and his regime to the Tower of Fate, an astral plane that existed outside the rules of time and space. They would then ambush Batman's forces. Now during the battle, Batman and his insurgency would take the Kryptonian pill, enhancing their strength and dexterity, meaning that they could go toe to toe with anyone that Superman had on his side. Clark then went head to head against Bruce, and the regime was gaining the upper hand. That is until Trigon had appeared, appearing as a wild card and attacking anyone in sight. Seeing Trigon as the biggest threat here, the regime instantly turned their attention towards him, but they were not able to do much, as the demon was simply able to overpower everyone. Clark was defeated and nearly killed by Trigon, until he was saved by Mr. Mxyzptlk, who he had in fact disguised himself as the Spectre the entire time, and the only reason he was protecting Clark was simply due to the fact that he really enjoyed pissing off the Man of Steel, so he would not allow someone like Trigon to kill him, resulting in a battle that nearly tears the fabric of reality. Their punches ripple through the air, and anyone within the Tower of Fate can feel the blows. Mr. Mxyzptlk then teleports everyone outside the tower as he continues his battle with Trigon. Due to Superman and his regime being weakened from the battle with Trigon, Batman's insurgency takes this opportunity to beat them down. That is until Swamp Thing interferes, assisting Clark and evening the odds. Things begin to spiral even more out of control as the battle between Mr. Mxyzptlk and Trigon erupt in their reality, tearing the world apart. Superman is forced to team up with Batman in an attempt to try and take down Trigon, but things quickly fail, and it seems like they're all ultimately doomed. That is until Barry Allen appears and manages to save all the heroes, but taking them to two separate safe houses, allowing them to formulate a plan to take down these two extremely powerful deities. With the combined efforts of Dr. Fate and Billy Batson, they are able to remove these two powerful beings from the fabric of reality. The magical explosion created by this knocks out everyone on a global scale, and when Superman awakens, Batman and his insurgency have disappeared. He's then next seen in the Hall of Justice, discussing with the rest of the regime about his very questionable choices recently, and how they shouldn't see Bruce as Bruce, but instead see him as an enemy, and he believes that by doing this, they will have a better approach towards fighting him, and that draws a close to year 3 of Injustice. Now during the beginning of year 4, Clark along with the rest of the regime begins searching for the whereabouts of Bruce and his insurgency, as this war has gone on for far too long. Now Clark visits Jonathan and Martha Kent, as he seeks counsel with them, as he's very confused of what he's doing, but before he can sit down and have a proper talk with them, he can hear someone in Metropolis screaming his name, so he flies off to Metropolis immediately, in which he finds a bruised and battered Robin being held by Renee Montoya, a member of Batman's insurgency. He knocks her down and begins wondering why she's so powerful, but he then sees her take a handful of Kryptonian pills. The two have an extremely fierce battle. Hell, Renee even uses the Washington Monument as a baseball bat on Clark. Now despite this, Renee falls over in agonizing pain. You see, you're not supposed to take that many Kryptonian pills, as a single pill itself puts an extreme amount of strain on the heart, and Renee just took a handful of them. Clark, realizing what she has done, refuses to fight back and instead attempts to calm her down, but it's too late, and Renee dies. This results in even Bruce appearing and taking her body. Now Wonder Woman tells Clark to arrest Bruce, but Clark refuses to do so, and walks over to Bruce and asks Bruce to finally say that it is over, which Bruce then says it is. Now later on, a group of Amazons led by Hermes would march towards the Hall of Justice, and Hermes would demand by the decree of the gods that Superman leaves Earth. They at first try to calm down the situation and try to get a better understanding of what's going on, in which they learned that Diana's mother had made a deal with Hera and owed the god a favor, but she refused to act on said favor, resulting in her imprisonment. Things quickly get worse as Batman arrives with his insurgency and says that their fight is not finished, as Bruce sides with the gods in removing Clark from Earth. Knowing that there isn't much choice, Diana suggests that it should be determined by judgment by combat, which essentially is a battle to the death, with Clark fighting for himself against any of the Olympians, which Bruce says that on behalf of the Olympians, he must battle Diana, as she is the daughter of Zeus. Things get out of hand very quickly, as Clark puts his hands on Hermes, resulting in the appearance of Zeus, and says that this trial of combat cannot be ignored, which means that Clark has to battle Diana. The two have an extremely fierce battle, with Wonder Woman's nose being broken and Clark's arm being snapped in half. Diana gains the upper hand, and as she is about to kill Clark, she is attacked by Sinestro, disqualifying the two from trial by combat and sealing their fate. Clark then punches Sinestro so hard he flies halfway across the planet. By the order of Zeus, Hermes leads the Amazons into battle against Superman's regime. Now the Amazons are defeated as the other gods of Greek mythology appear. Clark then calls out for reinforcements, but no one appears, and Clark realizes that he has lost. Clark is then told by Hermes that he has one day left to pack up his stuff and then go. They attempt to return back to the Hall of Justice, but Hermes tells them that Diana must come with them, resulting in Diana attacking Hermes and another battle breaking out. Hercules interferes and batters Wonder Woman, along with uppercutting Clark into the atmosphere. All seems lost until Shazam appears. Wielding the power of the gods, Shazam has the ability to go toe-to-toe with the Olympian. Now Clark wakes up in orbit and flies back down to Earth as fast as he can, hitting Hercules with all of that force and killing the Olympian. Everyone is in shock until Clark is struck in the chest by an arrow from Apollo, leading to the Olympians battling the rest of the regime. Now the fight is going in the regime's favor, due to Shazam having the power of 6 gods, but this quickly means nothing when he is stripped of his powers by Zeus. Zeus then threatens him to leave Earth or he will punish them all, starting with Billy Batson. Realizing that there's no other choice, the regime disperses. Clark then confronts Ares, in which he learns that the god of war has been playing them all along, as he encouraged him to battle the pantheon of gods because of his love for war. Despite being furious with Ares, Superman does need a solution to Zeus, in which the god of war would suggest getting Hades or Poseidon involved. So the Kryptonian seeks out Poseidon and earns his trust, and they lead an attack against Themyscira. Clark is punched across the face by Diana, as she's understandably angry that he continues to get more gods involved, but she's then struck down by Poseidon, in which Clark saves her life. The battle continues to worsen until Zeus appears, ceasing all conflict and forcing Poseidon to pull back out the tide, in which Zeus then tells his brother to leave. Clark then goes toe-to-toe with Zeus, but the Man of Steel is completely outclassed, and Bruce reveals to Batman that they've all been played before they're all knocked out by Zeus. Clark is informed by Bruce that Harley Quinn has a mother box which belonged to Ares, and Superman realizes that the god of war has been working with Darkseid. Clark then exits the Earth's atmosphere and flies all the way to Apokolips, and the two begin battering each other into oblivion, the power shaking the core of Apokolips and nearly destroying the entire planet. That is until Clark is stopped by Orion, a member of the New Gods, who informs the two if that they keep battling, Apokolips will be destroyed along with Darkseid. Clark then tells Darkseid to stay away from Earth before he travels back home. When he enters Earth's atmosphere, he meets Diana carrying 2 nuclear bombs. He then assists her and throws them deep into space, wondering what's going on. He's then informed whilst he was at Apokolips, the world had become fearful of the gods, as they destroyed religious sanctuaries to show that they were the one true gods, and because of this the world leaders grouped up and made a plan to destroy the Olympian gods. Clark then arrives at Olympus and demands to see Zeus once more. Zeus then condemns him to death and nearly strikes him down until he is approached by the High Father, another member of the New Gods. He is then informed by the High Father that he was played by Ares, as he's been working all sides against each other. Realizing what has happened, Zeus along with the other Olympians disappear, with only Diana remaining on Earth. Clark then sets his eyes on Ares, grabbing him by the throat and taking him to Apokolips, letting Darkseid torture the fallen god. He would then go to the world leaders and tell them all to disband, as this has been their last and final warning. He then has a quick talk with Bruce through a computer and says that he does wish for them to fix this, face to face. And Clark arrives at their meeting spot, but Bruce was wise enough not to go, as it was a trap to apprehend him. Diana then reminds Clark that he needs to stop setting his eyes on capturing Bruce and instead start protecting the planet. And that is the end of year 4 of Injustice. And that's it for now, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. It's been a rather lengthy video. Now in 2 weeks time, you are going to get the final part on Superman before I jump to Bruce's side of the story, as I think it's a great way of seeing 2 different sides of the battle. Now before I wrap up this video, I'd like to let you guys know that tomorrow I'm going to be breaking down everything we currently know about the Injustice 2 story, such as who's on whose side, their motivations for it, and all of the wild cards and outside interference that's currently going on, as there is going to be a lot of different story arcs within Injustice 2. So please come by tomorrow's video for a better understanding of what's gonna happen. Now if possible, guys, let's try getting this video to 750 likes, as you all do a fantastic job of hitting my like goals. Now as always, guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.